We're talking about visiting places, visiting, when you go to a place, to a city, and you get to go to so many places, if it's maybe churches or the markets or, to see some statue or something, we always need to be able to talk about what we saw and what was the experience. Read about some places in these cities in Colombia. And then we're going to look at this word called time and write about a town or city that we have visited. So you could be more confident that when you visit a place, you know how to speak about it. You know how to tell someone what was interesting. You know how to use common phrases. And yes, so let's get into it. We'll start with reading about an article called A Journey to Colombia's City. And then we will write ourselves, and I'll help you with the English. So we have here, you'll see it says the title, so you can read with me. A Journey to Colombia's Cities. Okay, I think it should just be coming up. Slow connection. So A Journey to Colombia's Cities. Okay, so maybe I won't share the screen because I don't have the screen, but okay, well, I'll just read and you can just read after me. So many visitors to Colombia spend time in Bogota, the country's capital city. But Colombia also has some other great cities. Okay, the first one, Cartagena, is a port on Colombia's coast. Because the city is by the Caribbean Sea, the food here is a fantastic mix of seafood and tropical fruit. Okay, so I just have the article here. Let me make it a bit big so you could see. We're just reading here. Also, Cartagena is one of the friendliest places in the world. Everyone has time for a chat, including waiters in restaurants, shop assistants, taxi drivers, or people walking in the streets. Okay, so that's the first city, Cartagena. This is in Colombia. And you could see that someone is telling you what there is in this place, what's the best part of the city, what they enjoy, and all the different things that is really good about this place in Colombia. Okay, the next one is Medellin. Is best known for the sculpture Fernando Botero. He was born here, and you can see his huge sculptures of people and animals everywhere in the city. The Botero Plaza is in the center and has a lot of sculptures by him. You can also walk to other squares to see more. If you want to save time between places, take the cable car over the city. And in the afternoon, when the sun gets very hot, go inside the Museo de Antiquarica. Yeah, Antioquia, to see Botero's paintings. Okay, so in this city, in Medellin, you can see that they picked a particular thing to speak about, because what is the city known for? What is really good to see in the city? So you could see that it was very important to mention this artist or this sculpture. And they told you that you could go to places where you could see the sculptures. So you can always pick one important thing about a city to mention, to speak about, that is so interesting. Instead of just talking about everything, you can pick one thing, especially if it's very special for the city. Okay, Cali is a city where people work hard, but they also know how to have a good time. The city is famous for its music and dancing. And there are lots of concerts and nightclubs. It's also the home of salsa in Colombia. And you can take courses with some of the best dancers in the world. The annual festival of Pacific music and the World Festival of Salsa are in August and September. So these are good months to visit. Okay, so Cali is a city in Colombia, and you could see that it's the heart of the music of the country. So salsa is a type of dance that is very unique to Colombians. And this is the place, if you enjoy music festivals, this is the city that has a lot of events, festivals, and dancing, and you can see when is the best time to go. And the last city is for a very different kind of Colombian city. Take a 4-day trek to the lost city of Ciudad Perdida. You walk through rivers and jungle, and after 3 days, you finally climb up 1,241 steps. At the top, you find the stone walls of an ancient city, over 1,000 years old, and an incredible view over the mountains. Okay, so this is another city in Colombia, and you can see that it's more nature. It's more, being in the ancient city, a very old place, and you can go walking into the river, the jungle. So that's a different experience. You can see something different in this city. So that's really interesting. 4 different cities in Colombia with different experiences, with different things to offer. So when you travel, you can plan what you want to do, what you like to do, to a certain city. So in this city, number 3, you can have dance lessons from expert. That was in Cali. Cali, that's where you can get dancing and the salsa music. There's transport which goes over the city. That was Medellin, because we can take the cable car. So the cable car, it lets us to, it said, take the cable car over the city. No one lives in the city anymore. That was Ciudad Perdida, the one that's an ancient city. We can see from the photo, it's kind of just nature. No one lives here anymore. You can go for tour and trekking, but no one lives here. And 2 important events every year in Cali are the annual Festival of Pacific Music and the World Festival of Salsa. So 2 important events are in Cali for music. And people in this city like to stop and talk to anyone. I remember that was, I think, Cartagena. It was a very nice, that was telling you that people were friendly. A famous Colombian comes from the city, and it's difficult to get to the city. That would be Ciudad Perdida. So we can see that these places, these cities, we use adjectives to talk about them. You remember, adjectives tells us information if it's an incredible city, a great city, an amazing view, or let's have a look at some vocab. So when we talk about places, a port. What is a port? A port is, for number 4, a type of city or place that has ships and boats. So let's have a look at some vocab. So as I said, a port, it's always a place by the water. So it's a place with ships and boats. A chat is an informal and friendly way. So if you have a chat with someone, it means that you're having a conversation that's very casual about your trip, about anything that's happening in your life. It's a chat. A sculpture is a type of artist who creates large objects. Sculptures are what you call the objects that he makes. And we had the cable car, remember? That's like, it's a type of transport. If you remember, in the last few lessons, we looked at transport. How do we get from one place to another? And we said by car, by taxi. So cable car, it means you go over the city. It's like you sit in a, maybe like 4 or 5 people maximum, and it takes you over. So it's on the top of the mountain, and it takes you to another place in the air, cable car. And concert or nightclubs, that's where you go to hear music. But a festival is a special public event. So a festival happens maybe, there's a special date for a festival. And very old, ancient, we can use this when we talk about a place. Ancient means it's just old. Okay, so maybe it has a lot of history, because you could say a place is ancient. Okay, before we write our own about a city of our own that we want to tell people about, let's have a look at some of these verbs. Spend time. So for example, on the weekend, we always spend time with family and friends. So when you spend time, that means where are you? Where is your time? Like, where are you? Where are you? So if you're spending time somewhere, that's where you are. We can also use this verb spend to say spend money. We know that when we go on holidays, we spend money, right? And you could say to spend years. You know, I spent 2 years studying or 3 years studying. So we have this one verb, but we can use it with different nouns. Spend time, spend money, spend years. And save. Save, for example, don't wait for the bus. Save time by taking a taxi. You can also save time. You can save money, save electricity. A lot of people say, turn off the lights, save electricity, save food, save water. We have this other word, have time for. If you have time for someone, I woke up late, so I didn't have time for breakfast. It means you ran out of time. You don't have you can't do something because you don't have time. Time. We like to always wish people, if anyone is going on a trip, we say, have a good time, enjoy your trip. Did you have a good time on holiday? Number 5. So now we know how to use you can see the same word, time, but in different ways. We can spend time, we can have time for something, we can save time, and we can have a good time. So all these expressions, they have the word time in them. Okay, so these are called expressions with the word time. Okay, spend time, have time for, save time, have a good time. So we have number 7. Which of those cities that we read about would you like the most? Put a number 1 that you would want to visit, number 2, number 3, number 4. So for me, the Ciudad Perdida, remember the one get to see every day. So it's something that's different. I get to have a different experience. The second place would be Cartagena. I chose Cartagena as my second place. I like that it's friendly. I like that you can walk around. There's lots of restaurants. You know, people are friendly. So that seems very relaxed. Cali, maybe to experience salsa. And then I might pick Medellin. You know, it's interesting. I'll go to the museum in Medellin, see the sculptures. So this would be this is how I would say to someone what I enjoy of the 4 cities that we read. Ciudad Perdida is my first choice because I love being in nature. Cartagena is my first choice because I like being by the sea and tropical places. You remember it has that port. A port is a place by the sea. Medellin is my first choice because the sculpture. Maybe you want to say Ciudad is my first choice because I haven't seen this place yet. I haven't been there yet. Cartagena, because I like to spend summer there on the beach enjoying their tropical food. Or maybe you want to say Cali, because I like to enjoy the cultural music of Colombia and their cultural food. Or Cartagena, because it is next to the coast and I would like to see their infrastructure. Okay, so you can have any reason to which city you like to see the most. So just put a number next to the city you want to see the most, and then number 2, 3, and 4. And as you do that, you are going to also write about a city. So if we look at as an example, somebody is writing about Cali. Okay, I'll just show you Cali. And they said Cali is a city where people work hard, number 9, and there's a lot of new business. It has a good airport for visitors with comfortable hotels. There is good public transport, but taxis are the fastest way to get around the city. In the evening, Cali has restaurants with traditional and international food. So this looks like it's written for business people. So you can always, when you're writing about a place or a city, think, who are you writing to? Okay, so we're going to write about our own city. You're going to tell me about a city that you have, a city, or it could be a town. So a town is just like a smaller place. It doesn't have as much high-rise buildings, and it doesn't have as much people. It could be in the country. A town could be up in the mountains, in a village. So these are some examples of how can we speak about a place and just talk about what's important in that place. Or, you know, to make people interested in it, maybe because we want to show them what we saw, what we experienced, or what you can do. Maybe I want to tell you, you should travel here. So I don't think we can do the exercise because it looks like it's bad connection, really slow connection today. We did the country. Tell us about a country you know well. But today I have, you're going to plan a paragraph about a town or city and tell us about it. Okay, so while we're waiting, have a read of the article again. And make sure you understand all the vocabs. And I will find where the post is and read out some people that have talked about their trip. So we're very slow connection today. Okay, but have a read through the article again, and I'll find, as I said, I'll find the post really shortly. Look for your adjectives, you know, look for those words, adjectives, look for the comparative. If you remember last lesson, we were talking about comparing. You know, did they say that something has the best seafood in the world? Have a look for those words. Have a look at okay, so we are here. Just take this one off. So have a listen, talk about a place that they like. So the post is write about your town or city. So remember the difference between a town and a city. A town is just a smaller place, doesn't have the high-rise building, doesn't have as much population. It can be in the country, the mountains, maybe just out in the bush, or a city. So we have Stefania, and Stefania writes, Stefania says, I won't do that one actually. I'll go to Javiera. So she added a photo here. So Javiera said, I used to live in Santa Cruz, Chile. So you could see she's talking about her experience because she said, I used to live. So she doesn't live there anymore, but she used to live there. It is a very small city south of Santiago. So that's the capital city. Santa Cruz is known for its vineyards and winery. It receives many tourists from all over the world. So I might fix that for her because we don't say it receives, we say it has. So I used to live in Santa Cruz, Chile. It is a small city south of the capital, Santiago. Santa Cruz, so make sure you capitalize the place, the name of the place that you're talking about, even if it has two words, is known for its vineyards and wineries. It receives many tourists, so we don't say receives, we say it has many tourists, or I would say each year. So each year, many tourists come from all over the world. It has many places to visit. So again, I would say there are. We use there are many places to visit, like the Kolkaja Museum. There are many places to visit. Instead of like, I like the word such as. It just makes your English sound a bit better. So such as this museum. In Santa Cruz, you'll find many restaurants, vineyards, and hotels. The most famous festival is in March and is called the Harvest Festival. Okay, so that was some interesting things about the city, Santa Cruz, that Javiera used to live in. Then we have this one from Anna. So she says, Guayaquil, the largest city in Ecuador, has several interesting tourist places. Malecon 2000 is a promenade along the Guayas River with parks, shops, and restaurants. The La Penas neighborhood is a sector of cobblestone streets and colorful houses. And from Cerro Santa Ana, you can get a panoramic view of the city. So that means like a very wide view of the city. You can see a lot. Guayaquil has a very active nightlife. Okay, Lewis talks about, there's the image here. He talks about a city, Coro de Cuevador, Bogota, in Colombia. So this place is one of the most important icons in the history of Bogota. It is the meeting place between the pre-Hispanic past and the founding myth of the city. El Coro, as it is normally called, is one of the public spaces of greatest cultural and tourist interest in La Candelaria, where you can find traditional Colombian drinks and food and hear its history. It has a lot of history about the city of Bogota. Okay, so that's how you can speak about a city and say what's interesting in it, what's very interesting to see. So Adriano, he adds this image, which looks really nice, and he says, São Bento do Sapucaí is a lovely place for tourists in São Paulo, Brazil. So he's talking about a place in a city, surrounded by beautiful mountains. It's perfect for people who want a peaceful and relaxing holiday. The old part of the town with its colorful houses is really cute. And the locals are super friendly. If you are hiking, there are great trails, especially the one to Pedra do Bal, where you can see amazing views. São Bento do Sapucaí is a mixture of nature, adventure, and nice vibes, making it a great spot for tourists looking for a special and relaxing time. So that was great. He really tried to make you interested in this place. And he told you what was really good to see when you come here and how you would feel, not just what you would see, but he said it would be relaxing. You can spend special time here. Okay, Jonathan talks about Medellin. So Medellin, Colombia is a very friendly city. It is popular for its big festival, the Flowers Fair. In August, many people travel there to be a part of and enjoy the festival. You can find music, performances, drinks, animation, and many fun activities. Also, you can go to many parties around the city all week. So Franco talks about, I used to live in Santa Fe, Argentina. Santa Fe is a small city in the Argentinian region. It is surrounded by rivers and lagoons. It is the wettest city in the country. For this reason, Santa Fe is burning in summer and freezing in winter. So really good, telling you how you would feel, the weather. So Shirley talks about Taiwan. And she says, I would like to introduce the city where I have lived for several years, Benshan Town in Kaohsiung City, Taiwan. There are many military bases and military academics here. So that's really good. If you're interested in the army, this is a great city for that. Every weekend, you will see many soldiers on vacation, and there are many traditional snacks on the street. The mountain town is famous for its delicious food. There are also many historic sites. So that means old buildings, ancient places, and ancient temples in the town. Many literary and art centers have also begun to be established in this town, adding a lot of artistic flavor. Okay, so really interesting. Sebastian says my hometown is called Ciudad Bolivar, Antioquia. So he says, my hometown in Colombia, it is a tourist and coffee producing town. So we could see from the image, coffee producing town. It depends on the production and marketing of coffee beans, which are sold to different parts of the world. For this reason, we are visited by many coffee-loving foreigners. Edward picks Itaja. This is an image here of the city. So he says it is a port city. We know what a port means. It's by the water where there's boats and ships in southeast Brazil. It's known for surf beaches like Praia Brava and Praia do Atalaya. At Jeremiah's Beach and all these places, it resembles a parrot's head. The 1955 Blessed Sacrament Church was built in Neo-Gothic and Romanesque styles. The Ethno-Archaeological Museum shows prehistoric artifacts. Set in Art Nouveau Marcos Condor Palace, the Historical Museum houses items tracing the city's past. They're really interesting. So if you're interested in the church, that would be a good place to see. And its beaches. Brian tells us about this place. So Brian says, I was born in Bogota, Colombia. I feel that this city is focused on showing Colombia's history. This city is a good place for visiting museums because it has more than 40 museums. The Gold Museum, as seen in the picture above, is the most famous museum of them all. Okay, interesting. So museum. Oscar, that's his image. And Oscar says, San Gil in Santander, state of Colombia, stands out for his historical and cultural charm, featuring well-preserved colonial architecture and a unique atmosphere. Moreover, San Gil is renowned for offering thrilling extreme sports, capitalizing on its mountainous terrain and the Sicamoca Canyon. Activities such as paragliding, rock climbing, and rafting can be done here. I like the emojis. So if you're interested in all these extreme sports, this is a great place. And I like that Oscar really mentioned it to show you that, you know, this is the best thing to do when you come to this city. Juanita, so I love this with that image. Juanita says, Palotella, Plazzoletta, Giro Valera. This place is a small square in Cali where you can find food and a salsa museum. In this square, there is a trumpet sculpture with the word niche. It refers to the niche group, a highly recognized sculpture group worldwide, and its founder was Jairo Valera, who died in 2011. Under the trumpet sculpture, I've just put like this. Under the trumpet sculpture, you can listen to music from the niche group. So that's really interesting. That was like the most important part of her city that she wanted to mention. Okay, so now you know how to speak and write about your city or your town so that you could tell someone. You don't want to just tell them very simple things like, you know, you can go to restaurants, you know, that's very common because you can go anywhere, you know, restaurants and shopping, but you want to pick something that's very like important or special in your city. What's amazing, like what's an experience that they can do, or what's really interesting place to go see, and you want to tell someone about it. So try and write about it, or you know, using your adjectives, and also tell people, like I said, not just the common things that anyone can do, but pick something and focus on it. Talk about the history of it, or, you know, anything. Like I said, you know, something that's interesting in a place, in a town or city that you have been to. Okay, so it's a place that you have seen. It doesn't have to be your hometown where you were born. Maybe you traveled here and you saw and experienced something. Okay, so I'll give you some time to write about your town or city. Now you're confident to do that. You've learnt a lot of vocab that's common, making sure your adjectives and comparing it. Maybe saying, it's the best something in the world. It has something that's really good.